When it comes to photography software, there's no doubt that Adobe's Lightroom is by far one of the most popular choices. But it's not just down to its powerful image editing capabilities that put it ahead of the game. If you're shooting for a big studio or if you're a holiday snapper, keeping your images organised is really important. So in this video we're going to take a look at the very basics of what Adobe's Lightroom has to offer. Before we get started, let's take a quick look at who this video is aimed at. Over the course of the video, I'm going to be looking at the real basics of getting to grips with Lightroom. So that includes the main modules, as well as importing and exporting your images. So let's get started. In terms of where I store my images, my main images are stored on this LaCie drive here. My catalogue is stored on my thumb drive here. I also have my images backed up onto my computer and onto a separate drive on my desktop. And I also have my main, most recent images stored in the cloud. The first time you start up Lightroom, you'll be prompted to create a catalogue. Catalogues are what Lightroom creates to pull all of your imported images into one central place. You can create multiple catalogues if you need to, but really for most people, and that includes myself, a single catalogue is really all you need. Once you've created, named and stored your catalogue, you'll be ready to change the settings and start importing your images. If you already have folders upon folders of images and you're moving to Lightroom from a different software, then before you do that, it's probably a good time to start organising those images. My method for my folder hierarchy and structure is to have the type of photography that you do first, such as landscape, travel, portraiture for example, with subfolders for your shoots and your images stored within these subfolders. To keep my folders organised both inside and outside of Lightroom, I label them using the year, month, date, followed by a specific keyword for that shoot. Once you have a good system in place and your images are safely housed within the correct folders, it's time to start importing them into Lightroom. Here, many of the import options will be the same as if you were importing images from an SD card, so we'll cover those options here. When it comes to importing your images, there are some key points to look at. We're going to go through this section as if we're importing after a shoot, so in this case, pop your SD card in and click the import button. Once you've done that, this window will pop up with several options. On the left hand side is the source, so in this case an SD card, and on the right hand side is where your images are going to end up, with the route in between. When you're importing from a card, you want to make sure you're using the copy option, as this will copy the images from your SD card to a destination of your choice. The options available on the right hand side are the actions that Lightroom will take when importing your images. So let's look at these. In file handling, you have the option to choose the size and speed of the preview of your images. For most beginners, I would suggest not overcomplicating the process and just to select standard. You should also have the Don't Import Suspected Duplicates box ticked, as this will stop you clogging up your drive with multiples of the same image. Another important tick box is where you can make a second copy during the import process. Here you can select a second hard drive to back up your images to. The other important drop down is the destination option, where you can pick where the images are going to be imported to. Here you'll need to build upon the existing folder structure and naming convention. So that's the basics of importing. Getting this stage right really does help with everything from here on in, so make sure you set yourself a good method that you follow every time. After you've successfully imported your shots, you'll be taken back to the library module. Here you'll be able to select your images to take through to the develop module, where you'll be able to edit your images. It's important to select your best shots here to make sure you're being as efficient as possible when it comes to editing, as there aren't many occasions that you'll want to edit every single image that you take on one shoot. You can go through your images in either loop or grid mode. There are a few ways of selecting your best shots, such as flag or colour, but my favourite is using the star rating tool. This tool allows you to assign a star rating to any image from 1 to 5. How I use this is either 5 star or no star. This forces me to make a definite decision on my image selections to make sure I only edit my very best shots. Once you have selected your shot, in grid mode, bring down the tab at the top and select the 5-star options from the Attributes tab. This will show you only your 5-star selected images from that folder, and you can carry that selection through to the Develop module. Now that you're in the Develop module, you'll be greeted by several options with what to do with your shots. It's important to note that Lightroom is non-destructive, meaning whatever you do in Lightroom in terms of editing doesn't actually affect your raw images. When you go into the Develop module, you'll see that the screen is laid out with your image in the center, the film strip with your selected images along the bottom, history and presets on the left-hand side, and with your main edit tools on the right-hand side. When you first get started with editing, the main tools you want to look at are the basic adjustments and perhaps even the crop tool. For this image, we'll start with the basic adjustments. If you click the tab or arrow, the basic tab will expand, giving you a series of sliders to work with. The first edit choice to make is on color balance. If you feel that your camera hasn't made the right choice for color balance, then you can manually adjust it here. Or alternatively, you can hit the auto white balance tool to correct this for you, and in most cases will do a really good job. Moving to the next slider, you can adjust how bright or dark the overall scene is. This is a global adjustment and will change everything. After you've adjusted the overall exposure, you'll likely want to bring in a little more contrast to balance out the image. When it comes to moving these sliders, I tend to stick around 30 points either side of 0. This gives it a more natural look and not something that looks over-processed. Once we've dealt with the exposure and contrast, we can start looking a little bit more at the finer parts of the image using the highlights, shadows, whites and black sliders. For these sliders, make small adjustments to them until you've reached an exposure that you're happy with. Just remember that unless you're doing this professionally, you should be editing for you and not for anybody else, though it does help to get a little bit of feedback along the way. The final set of sliders will help really bring your image to life. Use the clarity tool to add a little bit of sharpness and definition to the image, and if your shots are a little hazy, then use the dehaze tool, and this will help reduce that. Finally comes the vibrancy tool. I tend to use this over the saturation tool as it gives a more natural colour enhancement. If you want to create a black and white edit, just hit the black and white option and use the exact same sliders to create your edit. Once you've done the main adjustments and you're happy with the edit, you can look at using the crop tool to either straighten your image or to crop the shot to a specific size. Lightroom has provided some common print sizes already, which will make it easier for you to crop to. After you've edited all of your images, the next step will be to export them. First, you want to head back to the Library module. Once you're here, you can select the shots that you want to export and hit the Export button. Hitting the Export button will pop up this window with several options. Now, depending on what you want to export them for, you'll need to methodically go through your options to pick the right one for your needs. These options will include file type, file size, as well as renaming your images and the destination they go to. If you're setting up options here that you're likely to use on a regular basis, then click the Add button near the bottom. This will save them as a preset, meaning you can quickly and effortlessly access them the next time you export your images. Just make sure you name it as something key to the export application, for example printing. Once you have done this, you can hit the Export button and Lightroom will process the images and export them. So for beginners, that's a first look at what Lightroom can do for you. And if you want to find out a bit more, then you can check out the rest of the series from Wex Photo Video. Or if you have a comment, pop it in the box below. Thanks for watching.